I have to fix something. I did a video yesterday talking about patience and understanding, and basically a lack of fucking narcissism is what it amounts to, I suppose. You meet somebody that doesn't like you, well, you can say, they don't like me, screw them. I'm not going to like them either. But if you realize just because they don't like you, if they've got redeeming qualities and characteristics, it's still okay to appreciate them. And sometimes it comes back around. That's the video I did yesterday. I was very happy with it. I keep watching it over and over. Who wouldn't want to look at somebody that agrees with them repeat themselves constantly? Thing is, I'm talking about Dr. Stanley Barron in there. And when I was telling it, and I remember this, as I was coming through the story, as it was going through my mind, I was like, I can't say anything to make him look bad. So I just dumbed down the reason that he couldn't stand me. But as I watch it, I realize that doesn't say anything against him at all. It's not an insult. I just didn't know. He was married to Kim, Kimb Massey, who I was in a class with, a communication in my radio, television, film stuff. And our textbook was actually written by her and I believe Dr. Stanley Barron. But I didn't know anything about that. Who pays attention to these things? There was always a guy that would come in at the end of every class and come in and he'd talk to her on the stage after she was done. And we'd all put our shit away and leave. Never thought much of it. And then there was one day I was walking through Hugh Gillis Hall with Philip Reyes, who was actually a roommate of mine at one point. And I think Andy Hallstein's, I can't fucking believe that. But he and I scuba together. We almost died together off of the Channel Islands. I don't think it was him. We stopped in the hallway. See, I said the guy didn't like me because I'd sit in class when I ended up being a student of his. I didn't know who he was before. When I became, and I would say things, and I said I'd say things, and he'd be like, fuck you. But then he came across something that he appreciated me for, and it was my patience and appreciating him allowed it to happen. But the part I left out was I was standing there in Hugh Gillis Hall between classes, and there was nothing moving, and there were just empty rooms sometimes where a professor would sit and write. They'd just sit in there. And I'm standing outside this one room talking to Philip Reyes and whoever the hell it was that was there. And I was talking about Kim Massey, the professor of the class that I had. And I said, yeah, I'm going to fuck her. It was a joke. And we all laughed. And I looked over and there's this guy that's always sitting there greeting her at the end of her class, and he's just glaring at me. I said, oh boy, that guy doesn't seem very happy. And we walked away, and then Philip Reyes tells me, that's Kim Massey's husband, that guy that comes in there, and it was him. And so as it came time, here it is. I gotta tell you, as it came time for somebody to just despise me, he had a pretty good reason. He thought I was going to fuck his wife. Yeah, he came around to appreciate me as a person. Sometimes it just takes patience. And if after all that time you still haven't fucked his wife, everything's all the better.